Oh. Hello. I was muted. No. Look, I actually updated my title today. But you know what I haven't done? I have not made a thumbnail. That's okay, I can make the thumbnail after stream. I got a little bit little something I have to prep before we go to the next screen. I did run out of time. I have been prepping for a while to bring this delicious lesson. To bring this delicious lesson today, but wasn't enough. Yeah. Thumbnails are so last year. It's true, but they're also really cute because I get to use all the cute scams that I have. I get to be like, thank you for anyone who got me a scam, and I appreciate it very much. And then I get to be like, look, I'm using it. You know what I mean? I really like art. I really like art. So whenever I get a scam, I'm like. By the way, I put in a new scam recently. I'm supposed to get 2 in the 10th month, which is October, right? Yeah, it's October. So there's 2 scams coming through in October. Yep. Delicious lesson. Speaking of delicious, I went to a petting zoo today. I went to a petting zoo and I pet some animals. I fed some. How does the mic sound, by the way? Am I on a weird angle or does it sound okay? I pet some animals. I fed some animals. Auntie Fox needed to go to the bathroom, so she asked like, "Where's the bathroom?" And then the staff lady was like, "It's in the big building with the big playground." So we went into the big building with the big playground, and 2 families had their kids on the merry-go-round, and they needed more people like on the merry-go-round before they were gonna set it off. So they're like, "Hey, do you want to just go on so that like there's enough people on the ride?" So I went on a merry-go-round. I went on the Lima one. It was kind of like a knockoff Madagascar, cause there was like a zebra. There was a giraffe. There was a ringtail lemur, and I went on the ringtail lemur. And then they finished and they were like, "Okay, now we're gonna put the teacups on." So then I also went on the teacups. I'm so cool. I'm so cool going on the little kids ride at a kids petting zoo. Oh my god, when I went to get off the merry-go-round, I got stuck. Like my leg, it was too high up, so my leg was kind of stuck, and I was like, "Whoop! Oh no!" Yeah. I don't think I've been on teacups before. I think that was like my first time going on teacups. I didn't get dizzy though. A wee spot of fox teeth. What does that mean? Today's classroom will not be about that, but class is not in session yet. We're doing the pre-prep. Does anyone want to guess what today's lesson's gonna be about? There may or may not be a test. May or may not. Fox Lee T. Um, is that allowed on Twitch? I mean, I guess I could just say I'm pouring a drink, right? Yes, I'm pouring a drink. Break it out on my keyboard! The different brands of grubs. Oh, when we came home today, we were driving in the driveway as you do when you arrive home, and the grubs was in the window. Oh yeah, at the petting zoo too. I met a cat. Her name was Bella, and she was an Oriental Siamese cross. Damn, some of these look really low res. It's a car lesson. Oh, can I be the cosplay? Car. What? Yeah, we're gonna do a lesson about cars. Yep. I love cars. I love cars and guns and drinking beer and looking at women's tits because I am manly. And going to the gym and yeah. Anyway. Hell yeah, brother. Hell yeah. Only manly men around these parts. What else do men like doing? They also like... Other than drinking beer and looking at women's boobs, what else is there in life when you think about it? I mean, like, really think about it. What else is there in life? Kissing other men, that's gay! That's gay! Bopping at each other. True, and farting and being like... blaming it on someone else. My dad does that, and so does other people. You hit up the soda water. Okay, it's prepped. But now I pour the hydration. Okay. Okay. Are you ready to say hello to my fluffy face? Hello. Hello. Oh my goodness, it's me. It's been a while. Jump scare! Boop. Pew. Oh, frick. Alright, no double music. There we go. Oh no! I just realized there is one thing I forgot to set up, but we can do that later. We don't need to set that up right this minute. We don't need to do this like right now. Okay. Today's class. No wait, maybe we should give it like a little bit more before we go fully into it. What do you think? Are we ready for the class yet, or are we just, you know, waiting for the latecomers? Those people that always walk in right after the bell goes. The bell hasn't gone yet. How can class be starting if the bell hasn't gone yet? Is this Bible school? It's not Sunday anymore. Well, not in these parts. I don't know. It might be Sunday in other parts of the world. Okay. We gotta play the school bell first. Let me see if I can find... let me see if I can find the school bell. Wait, this is like American style. This sounds like a fire alarm. Okay, this sounded like my school. Okay. Are we ready? So Flay, hello. Hello, welcome. Okay, let me pause the music real quick because we gotta listen to the school bell. Are you ready? loud as heck. That was so freaking loud. Alright, he's sitting down. Is everyone sitting down at their seat? You better be. You better be sitting down at your seat. Class is about to start. I'll have a drink. Miss Kagari, Bear keeps touching me. Alright, hands to yourselves. Keep your hands to... Oh my god, double music. We got a pledge of allegiance. This ain't America. This ain't America. This brings back memories of watching anime. Oh wait, really? Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, my high school had the typical Japanese bell. Anyway, Parrot, keep your hands to yourselves. Stop putting them in Nin's pants. Or, I bring out the whip. Alright. No, wait, what did they used to hit children with? It was like a cane, right? I'll bring out the cane. This ain't no democracy. This is Fox class. Anyway, rulers? Okay, I'll bring out a ruler. I'll bring out a metal ruler with spikes conspicuously glued on it. I'm not doing nothing. Nina's getting in the way of my hands. I don't know about that. 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 I don't know about... Maybe I can be big today. There's not much else that needs to go on the screen. Anyway, today's class. Let me open the correct window. Double check that it's working. Okay, let's see. Today, should I do like a text or should I just write it with my mouse? Let's do a text. And then today's class. Alright, well that didn't want to work properly. It kind of went scuffed. Why did that thing on the sideshow? Where is the... There we go. Today's class. Makes a loon call with hand? What's a loon call? Do I have to look it up? Wait, I'm the teacher. I shouldn't be looking stuff up. I'm looking it up. Loon class. I mean loon hand. Loon call. Loon call. Is it a bird sound? No bird sounds allowed. The only sound that's allowed is a chicken noise. The only sound that you're allowed to make is a chicken noise. Today's class, you can't read the text, can you? Let's make it like a bright color so you can read. Thank you for following, Top Hat Unknown. Can you read that? Can you read that? What about that? That's a nice color. Oops. Okay, we're like there, and then there, and then okay, like that. Today's class. Can we get Comic Sans? Okay, let me figure this out. I don't use the text tool that much. Tool properties. Comic Sans. Is this one? Yeah, there we go. today's class. Where is the syllabus? I don't know. I'm the substitute teacher. Okay, are you ready? Are you ready for today's classes? With about 2 inches in the butt and... Huh? Huh? I go in the back of the room. I mean, yeah, go stand in the back of the room and face the corner. Punishment. Jumps over the table, get back down on the floor. I mean, not the floor. Sit down at your desk. I don't know why I told you to get on the floor. Get on the floor and bend over and... I'm kidding. Don't do that. I don't want to see that. I want this to be censored though. There we go. Today's class. Real butt hits. Oh my god, I have to keep allowing messages because you keep... Open up a bag of sun chips and stars. You guys are the worst. You guys are the worst. You guys are misbehaving. I'm gonna get the ruler. Hold on. I gotta get... It's gonna stop getting auto-modded. You gotta stop posting weird stuff. Thank you for following. Shoo. Shoo. I'm gonna get out the ruler, and whoever misbehaves is getting smacked on the face with the ruler, which I am getting out. Okay. Put this down here. Ruler. Okay, hold on. There we go. There we go. There we go. It's wooden. Yeah. No, wait. I didn't mean to do that. Ruler. Okay. Who's the man? Well, I was concerned if I brought in like a green one, it was gonna disappear. If I brought in one that was transparent, I don't know what would happen. Okay, well, who's getting smacked first? Where are you? I see you there. I see you. Alright, there we go. You wouldn't smack a bird. Try me. Alright. I'll eat that bird. Look. Oh no, not look like that. Go down. There. You know what? I don't know if I'm doing this right. No, it's one word. No, never mind, there you go. Instead of smacking all of you, I'm bombing you. Anyway, stop distracting us. Me. Us being the students who are actually listening. Pay attention. Class is in session. And today's class is robot pets of the 90s to 2000s. I didn't have like a strict cutoff for like when in the 2000s we were going to end, but mostly around 2006. So we're kind of going from like late 90s to 2006. That's like the general area. Let me have a drink. I wrote a lot of notes too. Sometimes if I'll be under 20, 30 maybe. Well, yeah, this is more like the early stages of like robotic pets. I'm not covering digital pets. So, digital pets would be something like Neopets, Tamagotchi, anything along those lines. We're not covering that. We're strictly covering physical, marketed as a robot pet, you know? I used to have one of those yapping ones that you'd find in the flea markets. Those ones that like... and then it backflips. I also kind of thought, because it's strictly like a robot pet, it does have to have what I would classify more along the lines of like a robot and not just like, how would you describe it? Not just like one of those things. One of those little dogs that you turn on and yap sometimes and then it takes a couple of steps forward and then it backflips. So we're looking like more into like actual robots, you know? Actual robots and not just toy with one function. This is the kind of dog that does not count. Let me get rid of this. So this kind of guy, this doesn't count. He has to have some kind of either, I want to say AI, some kind of AI that's like functioning as a robot. You know, like I wouldn't call this a robot. So we're not covering these kind of pets. So where are my notes? Where are my notes? I should close all the other tabs so I don't lose my notes. He could have been Skynet. He could have been after Skynet took over. He could have been. We still got time for Skynet. We might just be in the alternate timeline where Skynet hasn't fully taken over yet, you know? Okay. So bringing back our notes. Robotic pets were actually first mass-produced in the 90s. They were like first mass-produced in the 90s. Although there was actually a robot pet that came like a long time before that. Let me just close some of the tabs so I have all the things that I want to be open. There was actually a robot pet that came like a long time before that called Sparkle? And Sparkle, he's kind of scary actually. He's kind of a little scary. I didn't organize my tabs, so I gotta like flick through things. He's a little... Let me just show him. This. So this is actually the first robot pet that was ever like created, essentially. And he is missing in my tabs right now. I did not organize these at all. When I was doing research, I just kind of like flung everything wherever it fit. So let me see what I wrote in my notes. I give my notes and notes down. He was built in 1940. He was actually built in 1940, but he was never sold to the public due to there being like a lack of interest. And he was like a very basic functioning robot. He didn't really do a lot, but he was a robot. And let me see if we can see this. So, hey, you can see him next to a robot that was meant to be like, he was the companion of this robot. So he was supposed to like go alongside him and be like his companion. But we're not gonna cover him. We're not gonna cover him because we are focusing on him. That pure Chad. Yeah, he's a little different. I mean, personally, not my cup of tea. He was originally like, he was originally built to be like a prototype companion to the guy who was called Electro, I believe. He had very, very basic functionings. So he could walk, he could wag his tail, he could lift his legs up and down, he could sit, and then he had like gears to like switch into different modes, like if he was sitting or if he was putting his feet up like he is in this picture. I don't know if he could lay down or not. I didn't really find information that described if he could lay down or not. But I don't remember. I did read how much he weighed. I can't remember how much he weighed. I think he was a little on the heavier side. He looks like he would be on the heavy side. Is there any videos? Let me see actually. Can we find a picture of him in Sparkle Dog? Rare footage! Okay, yes, there is some footage of Sparkle. We can look at it. We can look at Sparkle. Let me just set up a video tab for that, because I wanted to set one up later anyway, since in a bit we are gonna watch some commercials, so we're gonna window capture. I'll do this, hide it, set it up. Okay. Here we go. So I haven't seen this before either. This one is Electro. This is Electro. And here he is. Okay, that was a little scary. Let's go back. Let's just look at that again. Wow.
A cigarette.
Cool. Oh, he's on the... He's not walking by himself. He has like assistants. Okay. I'm out. Okay. Well, as you can see, it's like very primitive technology, but it's there, right? Like the beginning is there. So obviously technology has grown a lot since then. Obviously things are like a lot more intelligent. There's way more like market for them. And I was actually surprised to learn that like the biggest market for robot pets is like companionship. And not directly like just a toy. It's not like just like that's it. It's just a toy. There's actually like a bigger market for companionship, and there's been studies where people basically put kids in a room, and then they would give children like a toy that looked like a stuffed. It would be like a stuffed animal, and then it would be a dog, like a robot dog, and they would test like how the kids reacted to the stuffed animal, like the stuffed dog versus the robot dog, and they actually found that there was kind of like a third category in the way that the children reacted to the third dog. I mean, the robot dog. So my voice is kind of like fried today. So people generally react to an object as either an inanimate. Let me put the music back on. Inanimate, animate. And for the robot dog, there was kind of this in between where they didn't want to hurt the dog. They didn't want to like kick it or like punch it like they would with the stuffed animal. So they almost treated the robot dog like it was alive, but there was also the understanding that it wasn't, which is interesting. Drink. Hi, Guacamigo. Welcome. Even electronic brain pancake crystal elderly. I agree. So I also found that there's like some controversy around elderly people. Yeah, like Anthony said, for old people. There's actually some controversy surrounding it, like how ethical it is for elderly people to have robot pets, because they can't tell the difference between it being like alive or not alive and stuff like that. Which I kind of found interesting because I mean, I guess like if they can't tell if it's alive or not, to me I immediately think like doesn't matter, because if they think it's alive then good, right? That's good. But if they don't think it's alive, then it doesn't really matter because it's a robot, you know? So it's not like it's intelligent enough to have self-awareness yet. So if they're ignoring it or whatever, it's not gonna matter too much. Does this unit have a soul? Soon. Soon. But anyway, it was an interesting topic. I didn't take too much of a deep dive into it because personally I thought, well, that's not really like what I wanna discuss today. You know, what we're gonna learn about today. Is it ethical or not? I think it's fine. I think if you're elderly and you have a robot pet, I think that's pretty cool. I did have a couple more pictures of Sparkle to share. Weep! Here is him doing his like sitting up position. After hearing him, I kind of like him a little less. I gotta admit, after hearing that, wow, I'm a little on the fence about him. But I mean, it's still cool. This one shows the insides. This one shows the like inside. Oh, let me make this a little bit bigger. Okay, there we go. Sparkle, the perfect pup. Someone chopped him. No! Sparkle! Okay, so it says, meet Sparkle, the 65-pound Scotty. I guess he's a Scottish Terrier. Who never has to be taken out. Who won't chew up slippers and who gets his meals... Who won't chew up slippers and who gets his meals from the nearest light socket. Sparkle is the world's first mechanical dog. At the Westinghouse exhibit at the New York World's Fair, he walked forward and backwards, barks, wags his tail, and sits up to beg. His hide is aluminum. His skeleton is steel. Electric relays, 2 motors, and a half mile of wire plus gears and drives make Sparkle tricky. He's 15 inches tall and 30 inches long. He does his tricks at the command of 7-foot Electro, the mechanical man who also performed at last year's fair. Whatever that means. Yeah, toss him some bolts, he'll do tricks. And then it kind of shows like how he cable turns when dog sits down, chain drive for walking, tail wagger, sit down motor, gear and shaft of sitting down and walking motor. The arrange of Sparko's interior. It is very interesting. Oops, I went out a little bit further, but that's basically how he functions. So he's very, very primitive in terms of like robotic dog, right? Who's a good boy? Who's got a good motor? You do. Yes, you. Anyway, does anyone want to guess the year that the first robot pet was released? Or actually, do you want to guess the year or do you want to guess what it was? Wow, wow, wow. I'm curious. I personally think it's not gonna be too. Okay, Anthony can guess. Anthony, first guess. You have to hold up your hand. Don't just shout out the answer. You think you know? Okay, well, Anthony goes first. We gotta hold our hands up in class. Be polite. 1947? No, not 1947. Let's close up Sparkle. Bring this back up just so if anyone joins a bit late, they can see what we're talking about. Okay, Nin, do you want to guess? I see that alarm going up. Might not have been intentional. Can you go to the bathroom? No, pee in your seat. Did Nin want to have a guess, or was he just stretching? 1952? No, we're still off. Okay, Ferret, you can guess. What do you want to guess? The first... Going way too late. 1996? Getting closer. It was actually... 1998. 1998. The first robot pet to be sold on the market was... Hold on, let me give a drum roll. I know what it is. Ta-da! Don't be furry. Yes, it's a furby. Yes, furries were the first electronic toy to be mass marketed. Can I turn you into a Furby? I still have my Furby. I still have my old Furby. So Furby was an American, it still is, an American electronic robot toy created by Tiger Electronics. You remember my mom and brother really into them? Oh, I was really into Furby. I was really into Furby. I even remember going to the store and picking out my Furby. And I still have him. I'm not sure where he is right now. But I picked out Snowball. I'm gonna hiccup. I picked out Snowball. I didn't know he was called Snowball. I didn't know his actual name was Snowball. And I called him Coco. Did you name him? Yeah, I called him Coco. because there was that, you know, when they still speak Furby language, they go like Coco, and I was like, okay, his name's Coco. Yeah, I remember like going to the store and seeing him in his box in the shelf behind the counter. You had to ask for them because they were like the big toy, right? And people would probably try to steal them. So my mom was like, we're here to pick up a Furby. And they're like, which one do you want? I was like, the white one. Because I like white fur. I'm not being biased. But I think white fur is very pretty. So I picked out the white one and then I called him Coco. Anyway. Yeah. I'm not biased. I'm not biased. Completely unbiased opinion. Believe it. I gotta believe. So, Wajimashimashou. Hello, welcome. First look 13. So Furby. The first line of Furby ran from 1998 all the way to 2002 actually, and I went through a period of being like the must-have toy, as I already mentioned, and over 40 million units were sold. Over 40 million units were sold in that time. And its speaking capabilities were translated into 24 languages. 24 freaking languages for these guys. I wonder if I can fit all of these. Let's see if we can fit these on the screen. So these are basically, or essentially Gen 1 Furbies. Weep! Look at Blueberry. Blueberry is looking a little long over there. You see him? Long boy. Banana Peel. I just noticed there's one called Banana Peel. Look at all the colors. Oh, we got so many colors. Sorry, Kiwi is kind of like... Kiwi is green, but he's green screened, so... just imagine that he's green. Turtle is also looking a little funky, because he's also green screened. You're just gonna have to ignore that. Kiwi is something... yeah, Kiwi isn't supposed to be like that. Maybe if I... whoop! There we go. Never mind, it's still green screen. That didn't fix it. That didn't fix it at all. What if we... instead of a green screen, what if we... black screen the back and then turn off the green screen so we can still... see everyone? Okay. And then... you gotta believe. There we go. Fixed. It's a black blood. It's officially a black blood. But it's kind of covering me. So they're like that. And then I can move over. I wonder if I ever made it to Japan. Yes, it did. Okay. And there's also these ones, but we will get to these ones in a little bit. So when you first get a Furby, it starts out by speaking Furbish, which is like the Furby's official language. And then over time, it starts to speak another language, which is whatever region you're from. So obviously, if you're in an English-speaking country, you would get an English Furby. If you're in a Spanish country, you would get a Spanish Furby. I have actually seen a Spanish Furby for sale recently, and I thought that would be kind of funny to get a Spanish Furby. I didn't make a note of what all the languages are, but there's 24, so we gotta assume there's gonna be like the main languages you would expect, right? So Japanese. Let's see. Furby Gen 1 languages. English, Spanish, German, Italian, Japanese, different variants, Greek, Portuguese, Dutch, Mandarin, Russian, Korean, Polish, Turkish. Okay, there's a lot of language. Furbies can speak a lot of languages. They're intelligent, alright? They can learn. Do I have a good old picture of just like a Furby front and center? So we can describe the anatomy of a Furby. Actually, I do think I have a kind of cursed picture, but I gotta check which one it is. Whoops, that was the wrong thing. Okay, let me just check which one it is so I don't spoil anything. It's important that I don't spoil the Furby. Wait, where is it? No, I didn't open it! Okay, hold on. This is important information. You have to see this. You gotta believe. Okay, it is... I don't know where it is. Maybe I have to like re-pull it up. I did someone with a plushie collection. You walked into the right stream for that. I have many plush. Many plush. Okay, we are going to... For anyone who doesn't like gore, Beyond. Beyond if you do not like gore. Is what we're about to look at. Yeah. It's gonna be gruesome. Whip! And... do this? Okay, that's a bit better, right? This is the insides of a Furby. So there is a reason why we are looking at this. Furby actually had like a light sensory and it also had touch sensory. So can you see my hair was a little light sensor, and there are actually touch sensors on the front of the Furby and then on the side of the Furby. This one's had its touch plates removed, but you can see where this sensor would have been. So if you would touch the Furby on the front or the sides, it would know that you were touching it. And it can tell if it is night or dark depending on the lighting that it's in, because if it's a little infrared sensor up there, which is pretty cool considering it came from 1998. What if you touched it? It's what? It's what? Okay, so in 1919, okay, we're not really ready to go to that British shot. Let me have a drink. So Furbies would actually communicate with each other through their little infrared. Through the little infrared, so they could actually communicate with each other. As we saw, there were a lot of Furby colors. Furby colors, a lot of them. And the green ones have been fixed because the green screen has been removed. I had this one. I had this one. Well, I still have this one. There are also... not that. There were also like special edition Furbies that got released and stuff. I believe this one here is very, very expensive. I think I saw one being sold for like $1,000 or something. They were all like special events, like conventions or Millennium for like the turn of the millennium, and then obviously year 2000. Santa's kinda cute. Santa's kinda cute. I don't think I'm big of enough fan of any of the like special edition ones to really seek after them, but it is a cute idea. This one's kinda cute actually. I like Jester. Jester's kinda cute. Yeah, they are very, very rare. I can only imagine how happy they would make someone who collects Furbies. Out of like the originals, I think Snowball and probably Tie-Dye are my favorite. Oh, I just noticed a Snow Leopard. That's really cute. These ones here were like the first, like the first of the first, and then came the other colors. Also Dalmatian's kinda cute. Dalmatian's pretty cute. Anyway, so they were pretty ahead of their time. They were able to speak, they were able to learn, they could dance, they could do little dances, you could play games with them. And then in 1999, so a year later, they re-released smaller versions of Furby, of these guys, the 98 Furbies, which had higher pitched voices and like 233% more phrases. I don't know what that means, because it's so like, how much is 233%, right? How did they even get that number? But whatever, it's impressive. They re-released them. They released a smaller version, and they were also called Furby Babies. Furby Babies, and they were a little bit smaller. I did have a picture, but I seem to have misplaced it. But here, no, this has got, trying to find a picture that doesn't have a spoiler in it. They were basically smaller and upgraded. That's essentially it. They looked the same. They had like the same everything else. They didn't dance though. They didn't dance. The Furby Babies didn't dance, but they did everything else the same. Oh, here we go. Here's a picture. Very big. Very, very big Furby picture. Here we go. I have to zoom out, sorry. Okay, there we go. You see, it looks the same, it's just a little bit smaller. But it also didn't dance. The original Furbies, when I say dance, I basically mean they bobbed up and down and that was called dancing. But the babies couldn't do that. In that era, Furbies were so popular that they decided to start doing like spin-offs and like collab stuff. And in 2001, they actually released a no, we looked at that. I'm gonna get rid of that so I don't actually turn it on again. We looked at these guys. They released these. They released these things. And these guys are called Shelby. They're called Shelby. In 2001 they released them, and they had different personalities to the original Furby. So the Shelbys could actually become mad at you if you like held it upside down. And it could communicate with the original Furbies, and it could also communicate with fur babies. So if you put Furbies next to each other, they just they start singing, they start dancing, they start talking to each other, and they do like little, you know, they get all excited. So these guys could also communicate with the originals, the babies. But they weren't actually released with names like the classic Furbies. So these names here that we're seeing, like Blue Moon and Midnight Black, these are fan names, they're not official names. I don't know how I feel about them. I don't know how I feel about these guys. They're different. They are very different. And I wonder what they were thinking when they went from fluffy bird creature with feet to shell creature with bird face? Question mark? Furby after the hydraulic press. Yeah, that's a better way to describe it. I guess Blue Moon is kind of cute. I guess if I had to pick one, I kind of like Blue Moon. I don't know. I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling it. Yeah. I think I see the stream assistant. No, I don't. I don't see the stream assistant. Less round, less marketable. I mean, you could argue that these guys are pretty round. They're pretty round, but they're also pretty ugly. Does anyone remember these, by the way? Because I had a very faint memory of them. But I didn't ever own one, and I don't think I ever really cared for them. I don't think I ever really wanted one, so I didn't get one. I am curious though, like what they sell for nowadays, because I assume they're pretty rare. I would assume that these guys are more on the rare side, so generally that means higher price. Should I take a quick look? Let's see if we can find a Shelby Furby for sale. Okay, someone's selling one on eBay, and it is $219, a lot cheaper than a Furby. But it is... Wait, someone's selling... Wait, what one are they selling? There's like the picture of the orange one, and then there's like the picture of the Blue Moon one. Those prices, I feel like $219 is not bad for a discontinued toy. Shelby Furby. 136, 295, 170. Oof. 400. 500. 500. Why is all the Blue Moon ones really expensive? Oh no, wait, that one's Sky, not Blue Moon. I was looking. Anyway. So along with spin-off, along with these spin-off Furbies, there were also, which I do have, and I was considering taking a picture of it to show on this stream, but then I thought, you know what, I can do that another time. We don't need to look at my ones. We just gotta look at them. They were McDonald's toys. So there were actually multiple sets of Furby McDonald's toys. There were these ones, which were little hard plastic Furbies. They were not robotic. They didn't really do much. I believe you press the feet and then the ears would move on some of them. I still have two of them. This one being one of them. I have one that looks like this. So it's kind of like this guy, but it's different. And then there are also these, which are also not robotic. They were just little stuffed Furbies. But yeah, it kind of speaks volume to the popularity of Furbies at the time, because not only were there like one set of McDonald's toys, there were two. I think these had different runs as well. There were different sets, because I didn't have any of these colors. Actually, I lied. I think I had the. I think I had this one at one point. But there were other colors too. So it was a very, very successful robot toy line. Here's a little bit more about Shelby. My shell opens and closes, especially if I'm scared or surprised. I am multilingual. I speak my own language, Shelbish, as well as Furbish, and English. This allows me to talk to other Shelbies, interact with friend Furbies, Furby Baby, Gizmo, and E.T., and the best of all, you. That's right, there were spin-off Furbies of different franchises with E.T. and Gremlins being some of said spin-off. And I didn't bring those on because I kind of thought we'd talked enough about Furby at this point. You know, we kind of want to wrap up the Furby talk. We're getting there, we're getting there. Shelby was not very successful. Oh yeah, I didn't explain also. If you hold them upside down too long, they get grumpy. My eyes and antenna move to show you how I feel. I tell knock-knock jokes and play games. I talk to other Shelbies and my best friend, Furby. So, if you would hold them upside down, they would actually get like angry at you, and then they would kind of be like snooty with you, which Furbies didn't do. Furbies didn't do that. Original Furbies would get upset if they were ignored, but they wouldn't get grumpy at you. With these guys, they would actually get grumpy at you, and they would like go in their shell and close it up. Taxidermy Furby, no! Then, in 2005, let me just double check this. Let me just double check that I've got the right image open. Yes, it is time. Okay, so in 2005, let me just enlarge it a little bit. Furby had a redesign. Furby had a redesign in 2005. And the sales were really poor because of the limited voice recognition, the popularity of furreal friends, and it looks really uncanny. It's a really uncanny design. So, boink! This is what happened to Furby in 2005. In 2005, we got these. So they were like twice the size of the original Furby. And interestingly enough, there were a few changes that were made to them. So they still had like tummy and side sensors like the original, but it didn't have an infrared light, so it couldn't actually tell if it was day or night. It couldn't tell if it was day or night time. They took away their infrared. They still could communicate with other Furbies, but it was done through infrared. No. Yeah, it was done through like an infrared that was not a light feature. I mean, radio. I messed up. Sorry, Klaus. OG is the nicest. I will make a comment on that after. But, instead of infrared, they would use radio frequencies. So, the old Furbies, you would basically just put two Furbies together and they would communicate through their little infrared buttons. I guess not button, but their little... I don't know, their little symbols between their eyes. They would communicate on that. These guys, you had to actually like press a button to activate it, and then put the two Furbies together so they could communicate. So the technology kind of went backwards. It was actually like less advanced than the original Furby. The rebranded Furby also could not tell when it was on its side. It could only tell when it was like the right way up or completely upside down. Which the old Furby, again, could recognize if it was on its side, if it was the right way up, or if it was upside down. They needed pairing? Yeah, they essentially needed pairing, whereas the old ones were just ready to go. Mistake was making the face smaller. It takes away the chibi factor. That's a good point, actually. I never thought about that. These guys also focused on speech commands rather than just recognizing sound. But it was kind of shoddy, so it wasn't really a trade-off. I don't know. It wasn't exactly like a good trade-off. They were kind of like a step backward. So they kind of flopped. They flopped, and there are some other rebrands of like Furbies that have happened over the years, with one that actually came out recently, but I'm only covering like 90s to early 2000s, so we're not interested in those guys. We're interested in what happened to these Furbies. Sorry, my dog ate my bike. Is that why you're late today? Thank you for 60 months. Holy cow. Thank you very much. Thank you. Arigato. I have to show you this. Look at them. Okay. So, when these guys first came out, I was super on the fence about it. I didn't know how I felt about them. I liked that they were fluffy. I liked that they were very fluffy. I don't like their toes. Looks like old ladies. Yeah, I can see that. I can see that. They look... I mean, just look at this face. Whoa, I didn't mean to do that. Look at this. I love this. I absolutely love this. It looks so done with everything. It looks like it works a 9 to 5 and it absolutely hates it. And it hates its wife and it hates its kids. And it just wishes that life went in a different direction. You know? I love that about it. But I hate that it's like a flesh-toned beak. I hate the flesh tone. I don't understand why I went from flesh tone. This is the wife. This is the wife, and this is the kid who is on the same level as the dad. And this is the dad. I am kind of curious, if we made the face bigger, would that like make it cuter? Or is it just unsavable? Let's do like a really quick, make the face a little bigger, see if it helps at all. I don't know, that makes it scarier. Now it looks kind of like a human. No, that didn't help. That just made it worse. Yeah, that didn't help at all. Look at it. It's just like a horror creature now. It's utterly depressed and it's a horror creature. Anyway. They did grow on me. And I kinda want one. The flesh color does ruin it. It does. I think if they just left it like normal beak yellow, it would have been fine. Just left the eyelids how they were before, would have been fine. Why did they make it fresh? Flesh, not fresh. Personally, I like cotton candy. I like cotton candy a lot. Yeah, I really like the cotton candy. I don't know, something about cotton candy. Look at this little guy. He looks like a smug. He looks so smug. But color-wise, I do really like Marshmallow. Marshmallow looks like... Marshmallow's a funny number, okay? Marshmallow's a funny number. And I do like Caramel Syrup, who's just a nerd. Like, Caramel Syrup just looks like a nerd. He's wearing glasses. What a nerd. No, there's no white fur bias. There's none. There's none. So that was Furby. Basically they flopped because Furreal was coming into popularity. These guys were just really uncanny. They weren't as good as the original. Being honest, they weren't as good as the original. They lacked a lot. So that was kind of like the decline of the Furby franchise. Let me have a drink. However, in 1999, we're going back in time right now. This was kind of like the second ever robot pet that was mass produced. It came out. It was premiered before the Furby, I believe, but it became available on the market after the Furby. So it's the second. In 1999, the first consumer model of. Does anyone know what this one's gonna be? Does anyone know what this one's gonna be? I'm curious if anyone... I'm sure like once you see some of them, you'll know what it is. But I am curious if is it black and white robot? Kind of. Kind of. I would say it's more gray. In 1999, the first consumer model of Aibo was released. Aibo is a robot dog that was manufactured by Sony, and Aibo is considered the second electronic robot pet. I remember Aibo, and Aibo is extremely expensive, even like for the time. So Aibo is less of like a toy and more of a robot pet companion. It was manufactured by Sony. I don't know if they also distributed it, but it was manufactured under Sony. Aibo was developed with the belief that robot pets would be commonplace in the households. I'm gonna hiccup. Commonplace in households by 2010. So they basically, they were thinking we're gonna get ahead of the game. We're gonna start developing robots like way ahead of our time. We're gonna be prepared, right? They were thinking that. And they were also aware of the lack of available technology they had at the time. So they were kind of like, well, instead of making it like a realistically replaceable dog, we're gonna make it like entertaining. We're gonna focus on making an entertainment type product, but it is an electronic pet. And Aibo was honestly like very ahead of its time. Very, very ahead of its time. Aibo was able to respond to 100 voice commands. It did talk in a tonal language. And then here I did note that it could all talk like a human, but this model of Aibo did not. And it could be programmed to make other noises. I do want to show Aibo commercial, which I have. I think I had it ready. I have a few ready. This is not the one that I want to have. Not this one. Maybe I will have to. I did make a playlist too, so I could go back to some of them. Funnily enough, though, some of the playlists, ones I couldn't save because they marked it as like a children's thing, and apparently, if it's like a children's video, you can't add it to a favorite list. Did you know that? Okay, this is the original Aibo footage. It says it on the description. We can read it together. Okay. Make sure I know what the tab's gonna play. Get rid of the double music. And then... Do we see? Oh. Doesn't want to show. Hold on. Let me fix this. Doesn't want to show when we're sitting in silence. Okay. There we go. Following footage. Wing. Eyeball, more like I don't get it. Okay. Following footage was recorded in 1998 with equipment that is primitive by today's standards. It is, however, the only known surviving copy. Yeah, you read it. You read it. There's no sound. There we go. Yeah. Unfortunately, the surviving footage of this is very, very low quality. There are quite a few people who I love Bobby. There are quite a few videos of the original eyeball. So the first generations of eyeball, two of them were actually exported to America, and one of them is still on display at an art space company in New York. So if you are American and you're going to New York, you should go to the Art Space Company gallery and look at the old OG eyeball. From 1999 until 2006, there was actually a new eyeball model released every year. Until Sony announced that it would discontinue eyeball in efforts to work on more profitable products, with eyeball repairs and support stopping in 2014. However, in 2018, they actually revived eyeball. They actually did like an eyeball revival, and he's back, essentially. He's back in development. But we won't be covering those later models. We are only going to be going until 2006, where they did the first discontinue of eyeball. So the first commercially available eyeball, it was described to have a beagle-like appearance, and it was limited to 3,000 units in Japan and 2,000 in the US, which is the ERS 110, which looks like this guy. It looks like this guy. Then in 1999, an improved version of the 110 with different shape and tail and different colors were available. It was basically like an improved version of the 110, but it did look fairly similar. Putting the old dog out back with a magnet in hand. The 111 had different colors available. I believe... Nope, that's not what we wanted to look at. That's not what we wanted to look at. Let me see if I have this picture ready. No, so we're just gonna have to look at this guy still. So this one is basically the top notch, the high end, the best of the best of robot pets that you could get at the time. So it had a sensor on its head, which was like hair, which you could use to praise it, scold it, or get attention. It also has like a really low-res camera. You can kind of see it here. Which it uses to navigate. So it's actually like using a camera to navigate around. They had microphones, which you can kind of see here on the sides of their ears, but they don't understand voice commands, and instead they have this... I don't think I saved a picture of it. Eyeball 111 controller. So the on the side of their ears, they can recognize sound. They can recognize like loud noises and stuff like that, but you can't communicate with them through it. Instead, you would have this remote control here, and you would basically plug in different sounds, and then that sound would go to your eyeball, and your eyeball would recognize what that sound meant, and then it would respond accordingly. So their microphones were basically just used to register like loud noise to get their attention, but it doesn't understand any human language. The really cool thing about Aibo is that different models will have different personalities, and they develop differently depending on how you interact with them. So each Aibo will come like, kind of like clean slate, and then you turn your eyeball on, and it starts the first phase, right? It starts off as like a puppy, and you will interact with it, and you'll do things with it, and then it will learn, and it will develop accordingly to how it's learning. And then it'll become like a little bit older, and a little bit older, like its AI goes through phases, and then it becomes an adult. And when it's an adult, it will be developed into its personality. And two Aibo could have the same personality category, you would say, and act differently because of the way that they were treated and stuff. So say you got like a happy Aibo, and it's like a happy-go-lucky Aibo, but it likes to sleep a lot. Someone else might have a happy Aibo who likes to play a lot, you know? So they do have like a lot of customization, I guess you would say, in terms of how they develop and stuff. I thought that was really, really interesting, especially considering this is 1999. Involves a random stranger. I believe these models are also known for being kind of erratic and unpredictable, which at the time of development they thought, you know, real animals, like part of their enjoyment is their unpredictability. So that is one thing they did incorporate with the older models of Aibo. Hello, welcome. Frenzy, welcome. Can you find the self-destruct code on the remote? Probably. They do use lithium batteries, so do with that what you will. Electronic rabies, so sad. I had to put my eyeball down. He had the rabies. Let me have another drink. I did have a really cute thing that I wanted to show. I forgot to show the Furby commercials. That's okay. We can look at the Furby commercials right at the end. I want to show this really cute thing that is... It's not a commercial. It's not, like, necessary for the stream. It's just really cute, and I thought it would be fun to look at together. So let's... Okay. Aibo is 23, so this was posted 3 years ago when Aibo turned 23. Aibo is older than that now. This is the more... Let me see. The one on the left, this one here, is the more modern version of the Aibo. This is an old Aibo. These are Aibo plushies, and look at it. It's so cute. They're celebrating his birthday together. Isn't that adorable? Isn't that adorable? Yeah, it's Grandpa with the family. It's the old boy with the rest of them. Oh, a little fun fact too. Aibos love pink. The color pink, they go like berserk for. So Aibos usually come with like a little pink ball, and then they go nuts for it. They really like pink. And they get all excited and stuff. And these old guys are known to go like berserk. Not in a bad way, like happy berserk. Um, I didn't write down all the dates for them, so we're just kind of gonna go by the model number. So this is the ERS-111. And then next up was the ERS-210. Let's just reel it back in a second, but make sure I can check what I'm doing. I got lots of tabs open, so I gotta go back and forth a little bit. So before we go on to where is it actually? Oh no, I saved them out of order. Frick. Where is you? Home. I didn't save it in the proper location, I don't think. So the ERS-210 was designed to look like a lion cub, but it's essentially just like a dog. And I will grab a picture of it. I'm not sure specifically why they went in this direction, but they wanted this one to be... Oh no, I do have a picture. I do have a picture of it. I did save a picture. They wanted it to be a lion cub. Yeah, it's essentially just like eyeball music. It's essentially just eyeball with a different tail on theirs. It's very similar to the original. It had speech recognition capabilities, and it's actually the most popular eyeball model, with over 65,000 units sold. And when it was first launched, it sold for 1,500 bucks. But then it was reduced to 1,000. So eyeball is not necessarily like a toy for children. Maybe for older children, like 8 and above, but not for like little children. And it's also a pricey product. It's not cheap. I did have some images of like the development that eyeball went through. So the one on the far left was like a, what would you call it? Preview. So this one was released in 1999. I think this one was the prototype that was displayed in 1998, and then this was like the first like prototype that was shown publicly. So Aibo did go through quite a lot of changes, as you can see. First tails, down, T-posing tail. There's also some different prototypes that were shown where we see like a Claire eyeball. And then you can see like a real raw eyeball up here with not much else going on. The pink ball had already come into fruition though. And then there's like this guy. I quite like the Claire one, but I don't think it really like fits being a companion robot pet more so than just like a cool display object, you know? This was the original eyeball, this guy. Same same. And then we have this one, which is the different color options that came out for Eyeball. And this is the one where you can kind of see the claws are different. So this one is the more upgraded one. He's got the better deets, you know. He's a little bit more evolved. And then let me just check that this next one is the one that I think it is. Okay, yeah, it is. Okay, so in 2001, they released the ERS-220, and the ERS-220 had a more futuristic design that was based on a space exploration robot concept. And I have to say, this one is my least favorite. This one is my least favorite of the Eyeball line, and I kind of feel like... What were you thinking? There we go. So, this is the Eyeball 220, well, ERS-220, and it came out in 2001. Yeah. Sorry. I think for something outside of Eyeball, it would have been a really cool idea, like, unrelated to Eyeball, but to market it, it looks like it would shoot lasers at— yeah, it does, right? It looks kind of dangerous. It doesn't look cozy or cute. I don't want to pet it. I want to, like, RoboCop Eyeball. True, it's like RoboCop Eyeball. Yeah, it gives off more of that impression. It's not like a cute cuddly dog that's gonna do cute tricks. Yeah, so that's that one. Let me just check what the next thing is. Oh, okay. So there was that one. And then they had the ERS T10A T and TTOA, which looked like the RoboCop Eyeball, but it had a improved CPU. And then they kind of went in a different direction. After this, they went in a little bit of a different direction, and they made the ERS T10. Nope, backtrack. They made the ERS 31X series, which was, I believe, the 310, the 310... I can't remember if it was 310A or 311, but they essentially released 3 new eyeballs that went in a completely different direction, and it had, like, Eyeball Heart slogan. And it came in a cream or black model, as well as like a pug version, which was brown. The cream one was supposed to be like friendly and innocent. The black one was supposed to be like the naughty or like more gloomy one. And then I couldn't really find too much about the pug one, the pug's personality, but it was the least common of the 31X series. It sold for like $200 less as well, so that just goes to show it was not the most popular, but I will say these ones are one of the cutest of this Eyeball series. Look. These, okay, let me, Yoop! These ones are the 31X series. So, the initial reaction for this was actually pretty bad in the West. And there was a lot of criticism for them, saying that they looked like too cute, or they looked like a toy for kids. And despite that, It was received really well in Japan. How big were they? Let me get a picture. Eyeball ERS31. Let me bring him in. Look. Oh, this is actually one of the flocked ones. Okay, so they released these colors, and then there are some like special release eyeballs. This is actually one of them, where it's kind of fuzzy. It's not just like plastic. I'm just looking for a picture where maybe someone is like holding it or something, so we can kind of get an understanding of how big they are. I can see why. You can see why they had a negative reaction. I really like these ones. I really like these ones. I think these are probably some of the best eyeballs, and I don't no, not probably, they are. Damn, it's hard to find a picture of someone holding it. Eyeball. Only the new ones. Okay, here's someone standing behind it. Round shape equals friend. I agree. No, that kind of makes the perspective. It makes it look bigger than it is. Let's just say they're sizable. They're sizable. They're not huge. You know, they're not like, wait a second, I found it. Okay, here is a picture of someone holding an eyeball. Ta-da! There we go. Now you can see the size of them. So they're a decent size. They are definitely a decent size. The problem is that they are too sexy. True. I look at this and I think, wow. I want to put my... Never mind. Slightly bigger than it looked. Yeah, it's a little bit bigger than you would expect, but it's not huge. Anyway, this is a special one. This is a special one. And these were the three of them. So the 300 series didn't have any like traditional sensors, but instead it relies on its head being tilted, or the tail being moved. So basically you can do the same things that you could for the original eyeball, where you can praise it, you can scold it, or you can ask for its attention. But instead of like putting your hand on like a sensor at the back of the head, you tilt the head forward or back, or you can tilt the tail. You can move the tail forward, back, or to the side to either enter it into like different modes, or scold it, or praise it. And let me have a drink. So it relies on those senses, or its paws being touched. The cameras on this one were actually upgraded quite a bit, but they still struggle to get around poorly lit areas, so it can't just like move around in low light. It does need a well lit area to move around. Do these toys move around on their own, or how they do move on their own? And we can watch. I think the eyeball one was one of the ones it wouldn't let me save, so I'm going to see eyeball. try to see if I can find the eyeball commercial for this one. They do walk around by themselves. They found it. Okay. This commercial is a bit longer than I expected, but you know, we're gonna enjoy it together. Okay. Let me show the blur so we can see the whole thing. Coco. Is it blank? Yeah, it is. A day of eyeball.
Let's hurry home now, home to Latte and Maga.
There he is!
What shall
Wait, do you think it's a girl or a boy?
praying and chatting and singing along? What I see out the window.
Out the window. My name is Latte. My name is Macaron. Pink ball. I'd say that was a female. Wait. For some reason, I think the black one is a girl and the cream one is a boy. Easy grace. Sulk. Innocent. Fun, fun. There you go, you can see them walking. He's sulking, this one's walking. Doing, doing. It's so cute.
Taking pictures, making poses, isn't it fun?
Take a picture.
Do you know, see, I'm a cameraman.
I'm your cameraman. Happy. Happy. Hi, Latte. It knows its name. Hi, I'm Latte. Nice to meet you. Humming.
Okay.
Eyeball. Active. Macaron. Adventure vigor. Expedition dance. Happy.
Praise the music, feel the beat. I can do the dance. Watch me how
I can do the dance.
Dance like I do. Shake your body, move your body. It's not very hard. Now you got it. Keep the rhythm. You can dance with me.
Shake your body, move your body. It's not very hard. Now you got it. Keep the rhythm. You can dance with me.
You can dance with me.
I can do the dance.
I can do the dance.
Can you dance like I do?
Can you dance like I do?
Sleepy now. Sing me a lullaby. Good night to everyone. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night, eyeball. Good night. So that was that commercial. Gotta love Japanese speaking, yes. It makes it. Can you dance like I do? Yes. I will do my best. It's a very long commercial. It was 3 minutes. Have you ever played Digimon World? I have. I believe I have the VODs on my VOD channel. You can see your incognito tab? Well, that's too bad. I don't really use incognito. Double music, sorry. I think if my ISP is looking, I'm going down. I do have a VOD channel. I don't think I set up a command for it, did I? No, I didn't set up a command for it, but I do have it in my little bio thing where I just dump all my VODs so they don't go poof forever. I can link it, give me 1 second. VODs. Here we go. VOD channel. There. It's just so when the VODs expire on Twitch, they have a place to live. They have a place to exist, so they're never permanently gone. Because that is one thing that kind of sucks when you stream on Twitch. When your VODs expire, they're just gone. To the void. I do have to upload some of my most recent VODs, but they're not going anywhere because I have Turbo at the moment, so I have extended VOD, whatever it's called, storage. Arigato gozaimasu. I hate how it deletes it. Yeah, me too. I hate it. It sucks, but there they are. I think I put them on the right playlist too. Yeah, there's like a Digimon playlist. There's a Ready Out of Stories playlist. There's a PlayStation 1 kind of random games playlist, GameCube games playlist, and then there's like a hand cam playlist because I know some people aren't into watching that, so I put it into its like own thing. So if you don't want to get immersion broke, don't look at it. Where were we? We were on the clicking on the wrong stuff. We were on the we were talking about the little eyeball. Yeah, they still need like a really well lit area, but as you can see, they are pretty mobile. They can move around. They can actually roll over as well. Like they can lay on their backs and they can get themselves back up again. They're pretty cool. And considering like how old would that one be now? The eyeball. Let me see. ES3 came out. Can the eyeball do your taxes? Not if you don't do them. It came out in 2001. The initial release for the oh no wait, that's yeah, that is. So those ones that we just watched, they initially came out in 2001. Like the technology, hello? They have freaking cameras on them to navigate around their surroundings. They can listen to your like commands. The microphone relies on tonal speech, so it's not like you can say I don't know, have a conversation with it. It relies on your tone. They occasionally spoke Japanese, which it's odd seeing it. But they mostly bark. They mostly like make doggy noises, and the antenna on their head, the little. Did I bring the picture back up? I don't think I did. So the little Teletubby knob on top of their head is what they use to indicate how they're feeling and what mood and what mode that they're currently in. So Ivo does have different modes that it can go into, and it has different moods. And as we saw, like the previous models did kind of have more ability to like show the mood that it was in, because the older guys, they got like these little screen plates to like show facial expressions and stuff, whereas these guys, they're not as able to show that. So instead they use their little antenna. Then after these guys, they released the 31XB, which basically it just looked the same as these guys, but it also had Bluetooth. So if you are looking to buy an Aibo and you want the 300 series, the Bluetooth ones cost more than the non-Bluetooth ones. Just in case you're in the market for Aibo. as I said, some special eyeballs came out. I believe one of the types of special ones came out were like latte, which is this one, but instead of all white, the ears would be like blue, and the collar would be like blue as well. And then the flocked one, which is basically just fuzzy eyeball, was also a special release. So these ones very expensive. Then was the ERS-7. Let me just double check the image again. I gotta make sure I'm showing the right thing. Apparently I didn't prep an image, so let me just yank. There we go. The anatomy of the eyeball. Oh, it actually shows the measurements there too. So it shows like the speaker, the color camera, the distance sensor, the pulse switches, the height and length, the horn light mode indicator, head, this, oh wait, read that. Stereo microphone, backlight, pause button, tail switch. Eyeball also has like sensors to know that you're touching it. Bark, bark, bark. Bark. Eyeball loves playing with, what's that? What's that? Is that like your texting? Howdy, welcome. Here is one of the special edition eyeballs. Where'd you go? Whoop! And he's got his pink ball. His eyeballs need their pink balls. So I thought I had prepped the picture of the ERS-7. We are going to link after this model. Where'd you go? Little eyeball is missing. There we go. Let me. Oh, it's just tiny. It's like a tiny image, and we're gonna upscale it, and it's gonna be really low res. Let me get a bigger image. So with the next line of eyeball, they kind of went back to their roots, you would say, I guess. There we go. So it's more like the traditional eyeball. Kind of more looking like the old. We love it. All right, let's just do it. Kind of looks more like the original. You know what I mean? Like the original look of the eyeball is kind of coming back in this one. So close these tabs. These were the third generation of eyeball robots, and they were the final release before the 2006 discontinuation. So this one was the first to integrate electrostatic touch sensors with LED lights. So basically you don't have to. I clicked on the wrong thing and that distracted me. Yeah, there we go. You don't have to press any buttons or hold anything down. You can gently touch the top of Eyeball's head and his face will light up and show different expressions. The back senses change color depending on the mood and the mode. Again, Eyeball has different moods. The camera had a really big upgrade from the previous models, and they also have infrared sensors now. So it means they don't like walk into things as much as they used to. And they have an easier time getting around in a low light. He wants to be a furry cowboy. That would actually be pretty cute. So the first 2 releases of the software for this model, I'm gonna hiccup. Could only speak robot, but then the 3rd release of the software for this eyeball could actually speak English, Japanese, and Spanish. Depending, I think, on which version of the software you had. Oh yeah, all previous versions too could not self-charge, so you have to like pick up your eyeball and put it into a charging dock yourself. Let me see if I can grab a picture. Whereas this one can actually go put itself on the charger. This one can do it itself. Here... Eyeball needs nap time. Yeah, eyeball does need nap time. Here is a picture of one charging. Why are they so small? Is there another picture I can use? Everyone uploads small. Okay, let me just... It's too small. I gotta bring it over. This picture, this is the only one that like shows it properly, so it's not me. It's just, it was the only one that was readily available. But as you can see, he's on the charger and he's having a good time, okay? The other ones, previous to this one, you would have to like pick them up and put it on yourself. Also, the charger itself has had a massive upgrade because it used to be this huge hulking thing. Trying to find, where is the old... Okay, this is an old charger. Yeah, I don't know why he's in that pose other than he's just happy, okay? So the old chargers were like pretty big, and I don't think this quite shows how big they are. But luckily Aibo does have an inbuilt thing, so when you pick them up, they have a sensor to know that they're being held. Oh, here we go, here we go. Get rid of this one. There we go, here's an old Aibo charging. You can see it's pretty big, the charger's pretty big. Penta! Konbanwa. Charger is big. Aibo is charging. When you would pick them up, the legs would just kind of go limp. Yeah, the old one looks completely fine. I don't know why they're doing this with the I don't know why they did that, but anyway. Let's get rid of those. So this guy can charge himself. You don't have to pick him up and go put it in. He'll go do it himself. Oh, he can also recognize faces. I've got that needs as well. Yeah, I guess being a robot dog it's not easy these days. This eyeball can recognize faces, it can remember names, and it also was in the 2006 film Click with Adam Sandler. It gets run over. Yeah. Does anyone remember that movie? Click? Yeah, eyeball gets run over. The only problem with this eyeball is they actually have a lot of leg issues. So their joints aren't very strong, and these guys are prone to leg problems. So they re-released this particular model like 3 times, but they still have the leg issues. It didn't ever really go away. Yeah, it's part of their breed, unfortunately. It's not a problem with all eyeballs, but it is a problem with this eyeball. So this one is the one that was the the right up until the 2006 one where they discontinued Eyeball for the first time. And Eyeball was discontinued until 2017, I believe, where they first announced a new Eyeball, or was it 2018? I think 2018 is where they showcased it, and 2017 is where they announced that Eyeball was coming back. But this was the final Eyeball of that era. Drink. And then another wait, should we have a quick TV break? Have a quick bathroom break? Stretch, etc. And then move on to the next robot pet. I think it's a good quick bathroom break. I gotta wee. I gotta pee. Eyeball can join us. Sadly, I do not have an eyeball. Maybe one day I'll have an eyeball. Not today though. Okay, let's have quick break. Quick bathroom break. I go bathroom. Go bathroom if you need to. Get a drink if you need to. Remember to wash your hands. Be right back.
Let's sit down and talk it over an Nescafe. Let's sit down and think it over an Nescafe.
エクセラのこの味わいと香りには理由があります。いい豆を丁寧にヨーロピアンスティーロースト。
Let's talk it over. Let's think it over an Nescafe.
ネスカフェエクセラ。
ハロー CQCQ、 こちら X92 シグマ XO。 誰かいますか？ハロー CQCQ、 こちら X92 シグマ XO。 応答願います。
スコレ。
スーパーカジュアル IN エクスプレス。宮本照は知っている。終わりのないストーリーがある。変わらない輝きがある。上質を知る人のネスカフェゴールドブレンド。
I'm back. Say welcome back. Thank you. I'm adjusting. And we are joined by the stream assistant. Yeah, no. How was TV time? We haven't had TV time a lot recently. Oh no. I see a stream assistant.
その人はスーツの時が
スーツ
とてもいい。
とてもいい。Waves.
Durban.
Durban.
ユーロコーヒーです。
コーヒーです。Alright, we're back. Keep teacher talking so she don't check her homework. I can sniff you out when you didn't do your homework. I sense it. With my sniffer. Sniff. You didn't do it, did you? My eyeball ate it. No. Eyeball doesn't eat. Why were you feeding him? Hello, stream assistant. Hello. Ba 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 ba. I have a stream assistant sitting next to me. He's actually assisting. Okay, where were we? We had reached the new subject, which is ta-da! Poochie! Poochie! Poochie was also very big and very big at its time of release. Poochie was one of the first generations of Robo Pet toys. Oh yes, it is him. It was manufactured by Sega Toys and released in 2000 and then discontinued in 2002. So unlike Eyeball, Poochie was developed for younger children, so it's supposed to be like 8 and under. And over 10 million units sold in the first 8 months of being released. Drink. So a lot of Poochie. Poochie spoke using pre-recorded sounds, and most of the sounds are actually rendered as beeps rather than realistic sounds. I did not remember that. In my mind, Poochie barked, but it actually didn't bark that much. Poochie actually just kind of like would go like, and then beep, 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 beep. Did I save a video of Poochie? Because if I didn't, we can go look at one. If there is one. Poochie. Okay, there is. Looks like there's actually a couple. Oh no, it's the same one. It just has a different thumbnail. Okay. Poochie, come forth. Excuse me. Oh, I'm falling a little bit. Okay, here we go. Lab, keep out.
You what? New Poochie.
Poochie.
Sounds and light. What's the matter, fella?
Just begging for his bone. Sing to each other.
Interactive Poochie comes with his own bone. Each sold separately, batteries not included.
Okay, that kind of shows everything that Poochie can do, honestly. That was about the extent of it. Poochie could... You could press a button on his head. There we go. He could sit, he could stand, he couldn't walk. You could put a bone up to his head. Well, face. He can do a backflip? No, Poochie could not backflip. Poochie basically just did that. It would sit, it would stand, you could put another Poochie in front of it, it would like at each other. Different spin-offs of Poochie actually got released. Let me just double check the next image. My life is a lie. Okay, so different spin-offs of Poochie were released after its popularity boom, including special editions which looked like 102 Dalmatians, different breeds, and different animals. So when I was researching Poochie, I didn't actually know, but I came across this picture and I thought, oh my gosh, that looks like Oddball from 102 Dalmatians. Cause you know who used to be a really big 102 Dalmatians fan? Me. It's me. Spoiler, it was me. Sorry, I gotta... So I saw this and I was like, whoa, that white one looks like Oddball from 102 Dalmatians. And guess what? It is. It was a special edition 102 Dalmatians Poochie. So they released for the main characters, which is Oddball, Little Dipper, and Domino. They released like special Poochies for them, and what I would do to get my hands on these Poochies. I would commit crimes unspeakable to any of the flocks. Look, Getty Images. Here we go. Here we go. Aren't they adorable? Aren't they adorable? Name all 102? I don't care about all 102. I care about the main three. Little Dipper was my favorite as a kid. So yeah. Special edition Poochie. I think unfortunately it would be very hard to come across some ones that were in nice condition. I think... Yeah. The ones I'm seeing right now are like broken in some way or another. I believe as a kid I had a blue and a purple of different types of Poochie. So, they not only did they have like special characters, they also had different dog breeds, and then they had different animals. And the different animals were referred to as Robo-Chi pets, which included cats, dinosaurs, birds, flowers or plants, a baby, which was really scary by the way, and a larger version of Poochie, and then a walking version of Poochie. So the bigger version of Poochie was essentially just Poochie but big, and then the walking version of Poochie was the only one that would like walk by itself. The other Poochies, they couldn't do that. They can, like I said, they can sit, they can stand, but they cannot walk. So these were some of the other Poochies. I don't remember all the names, but I remember that the cat is called Meowchi, and I had a Meowchi and I had a Poochie. I want to say this. Oh, this is what my Meowchi looked like. Hi, stream assistant. Hello. So my Meowchi looked like this. And I had a like dark blue Poochie. The golden fortune cat. Oh, they're like Manenek. Is it Maneneki Neko? It's a tongue twister. Maneneki Neko. What are you doing? So I believe for like the Meowchi and stuff, they also had different colors, and I think there were special colors that came out. I'm not 100% sure on that. Do not quote me on that. But there are some interesting Meowchis out there. I didn't see all of them. I don't ever remember the plant one, and I'm kind of curious, like, what does the plant do, you know? Because obviously a dog is gonna bark, a cat's gonna meow, dinosaur can make like kind of noises. The heck does a plant do? But anyway, Poochie, or I guess now it is Robochi, had a McDonald's spin-off. They also had a McDonald's spin-off, and look how terrifying the baby ears. Look how freaking scary the baby ears. So there were a lot of Poochie spin-offs. There were a lot of different like Poochie spin-offs. I had some of these toys, by the way. I distinctly remember the rabbit, the pterodactyl, and the Poochie. I don't ever think I had the baby. I didn't have the bear. I never had the flower, and I didn't have the robot. But I had those other three. Yeah. My rabbit, I remember, was like very different looking to that rabbit though. So I guess they came in a lot of different color options. I don't think the McDonald's one did anything other than light up, so it was like a toy that was very arguably a robot. Dumbed down even more, I guess you could say. I remember Poochie being a lot cooler than it was. Going back and looking at it, it really didn't do that much. But nonetheless, it was affordable, it was accessible, kids loved it. For its time, it was like, wow, this is futuristic because it has see-through parts on it, you know? Yeah. It was liked for its time, but it didn't do much. It lacked entertainment. So it kind of fell out of favor as this creature was released in 2002. This was marketed as basically like a pet robot again. I think this really isn't actually a robot. This is kind of like, how would I describe? I'll just give a little brief. So the For Real Friends was later rebranded to like just For Real in 2017, but back then they were For Real Friends. The first model was just a cat, which they more emphasized on being like a lifelike robot pet in behavior and appearance, because wow, it looks so real, right? But that kind of approach was very uncommon for the time, so most of the robot pets that were coming out around that time looked futuristic. You know, they had like more of a robot feel to them. They distinctly were robot and not soft and stuff, whereas this kind of went more in that direction of it's like, oh, I get to actually pet it, and it's got fur and whatnot. But at the end of the day, it didn't do much. It couldn't really move, really. It just lay there. It could move its head, and it could move its tail. Thank you for following, and welcome. It could move its head, and it could move its tail. It had a touch sensor on its cheeks, the top of its head, on its shoulders. It did have one on its back and on its tail. And basically all you could do was pat it on its head, and it would move its head to like where you were patting it. So if you're like patting on its cheek, it would move its head to the way you were patting it, it would start purring, and then if you pulled its tail, it would hiss at you and be like, meow. That was it. That was all it did. It wasn't entertaining. That's all it did. It came in a bunch of colors. Special pets that respond to your touch. And then you can kind of see a little bit more what it looks like here. I know when you touch me, I'll arch my back. It didn't really do that much. It says it arches its back. It doesn't look like it's arching its back. It just kind of whoop, whoop. It doesn't look like this anyway. See if I can get a for real. Better picture of it. This one's good. This one's really good. They need to stop spawning in the top corner. Whoa, we're going looking for it. There it is. There it is! In all of its quality. For real, friends. Each sold separately. Batteries not included. Okay. There they are. How lifelike. I know when you touch me. Threatening. I want like a higher res picture of its face because the fact that this was marketed as like realistic is really funny. There we go. Real and true. It's so lifelike. It looks like a real cat. It looks so real, right? It's a real cat. I'm patting a bingus. Hello. You wanna sit on my lap? You wanna sit on lap? Bingy? Bingy, 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 bingy. Okay, he's purring. Ba 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 ba. Can I touch my mouse? Hello, yes, I love you too. Yes, I do. I swear, he always, if I'm not paying attention to the stream assistant, it's like, pay attention to me. Stop doing anything else, pay attention to me. I like it. Something is uncanny valley. It just looks like a really... Honestly, it kind of looks like a cheap toy. You know, it doesn't look like... It doesn't look real, for starters. It doesn't look realistic. It looks like a cheapish plush... You're knocking my earbuds out. Alright, he's sitting on my shoulder. Okay. I have a parrot cat now. I'm not sure how it was priced, but it was... Ow, ow, ow. Okay. Claws and shoulder, not appreciated. I'm not sure how it was priced, but it was still in the, like, affordable range. It was still a children's toy, so it was an affordable toy. After that, we have this one. I do remember seeing this, but I did not know much about it at all. So this one I did have to do quite a bit of research on because I really didn't know anything about it other than I had seen it before. This one is Techno. So Techno, the robotic puppy, was released in 2000 and had a few color variations. Techno had more than 160 emotions and functions, which included walking, barking, eating, and sleeping. It could be taught to respond to voice commands and perform tricks. Techno had touch senses, light sensors, and buttons to interact with. Hello, welcome. So techno is kind of like the more accessible idol of the era. You could say it was definitely priced a lot cheaper than the eyeball, who, you know, is pretty pricey. I think it was Techno that I found. No, it was Poochie that I found the instruction manual on. Would we want to look at the Poochie manual? We've kind of moved on from Poochie, so maybe we can do it at the end where we can kind of like rehash everything. There was something I found about Techno that was interesting to look at. Oh yeah, Techno was only like $40 in America. In 2000 it was like $40. I don't know how to work out that inflation, but it's still like, it's better than like $2,000, the price range of like Aibo around that time. So there were like other versions of Techno that came out later. Like there were like a newborn version of Techno with like a puppy, right? A smaller version. And then there were like other side things of Techno that were released as well. I think there was a cat that got released. I mostly saw like Techno, which I kind of forgot about, but I remember seeing Techno and seeing like the OG Aibo. I thought I had found the manual for it, but it appears that I have either like closed it by mistake or something, or it's just like missing in my sea of tabs that I have open right now. Let me see if I can quickly pull it up. Techno the robot. Okay, I found it. So we'll drag it over here. They caught fire easily? Did they really? So this is like the manual for Techno, because I thought it would be interesting to look at. We'll get rid of this one. Techno the puppy. The robotic puppy operating manual. Remove Techno from his package. Initial setup, understanding Techno's programming, Techno's sensors and inputs, touch inputs, Techno's basic functions, teaching Techno his everyday tricks, teaching Techno his advanced tricks, replacing Techno's batteries, troubleshooting tips, placing Techno with other Techno robotic puppies. So Techno can learn tricks, interact with other Techno dogs. Techno is an authentic robot friend who does everything a puppy can do and more. He walks, barks, talks, and even cries. With your help, he can also learn to perform amazing tricks. So Techno is kind of like Techno was kind of like the more accessible Aibo, and he was more like, this is just a puppy, right? It's not like a dog that's gonna grow up and be your dog friend like Aibo. It's more of he's a puppy and you have to teach him things and take care of him. And he's also only $40. He's not gonna break the bank. Thanks to his artificial intelligence program and a few barks, whines, and pants, Techno will let you know how he's feeling and provide feedback on the care you provide. Techno knows how long it's been since you've fed him, and he's quick to remind you when he's in need of some playtime. Techno is programmed to respond like any 8-week-old puppy. His state-of-the-art senses allow him to see and hear everything around him, including your own voice. Techno's sensors also enable his powerful computer brain to know when it's getting dark, if your house lights suddenly turn on, or your friend is knocking at the door. Please read on to learn everything you need to know about Techno, including proper instructions on caring and training for your new robotic friend. Can we look at what? What are we looking at? Follow these instructions or visiting the website will enable you to provide the best life possible for your techno and lead to greater enjoyment. Yeah. Okay, so this is removing him from the packaging, the initial setup. Before we do that, I do want to look at the techno commercial together. Techno. This commercial is nostalgic. I remember this commercial. Oh yeah.
When Mom got me a puppy, Dad said,
A puppy? Who's gonna walk?
I am. Come on, Techno, come on.
Who's gonna train him?
I teach him Techno lots of cool tricks.
Techno, the robotic puppy. He's light activated, touch activated,
Come on, Techno.
and voice
Come on, boy.
activated.
Come on.
The more you teach him, the smarter he gets. Just like a real puppy.
So,
Hey, check out Techno's website. We can teach him more high-tech tricks.
Techno, the robotic puppy. He's programmable, has artificial intelligence, and comes with his own high-tech dog bone and card trick.
you can already kind of see it from like the movement and like the way they're marketing him, I guess, that he's kind of meant to be like Aibo at home. He had a card trick. I don't know. Maybe he can learn to do card tricks. Remove Techno from his paper package. The usual, understanding his programming. He uses the latest artificial intelligence software. He has the intelligence of an 8-week-old puppy. I'm gonna hiccup. Since puppies aren't perfect, sometimes Techno will respond to your commands. Other times, he'll do what he wants. It all depends on how he feels and how you communicate with him. Like all puppies, Techno loves attention. Yell out his name and clap your hands to let him know you're there. Pat him on the head to know he's a good dog. Feed him regularly. Change his batteries when he stops working. Just think of him as a real puppy and he'll be your friend for life. Do you think he resets when you change his batteries? Or do you think he's like good enough to retain memory? To understand how Techno works, you must know all about his input. So he's got a neck sensor, he's got on and off switch, mode button, head sensor, light sensor, nose sensor, sound sensor, mouth sensor. I love how they're like hyping it up like it's really advanced, but when you think about it, Poochie had a lot of these things too, and Poochie is like the bare bones for a robot kind of toy. The one thing that Techno can do though is Techno can walk. Unless you had like the specific walking Poochie, you couldn't do much. Located between his eyes under the protective lens, Techno's light sensor responds to changes in the light, so he's like a Furby. He can tell when it's day or night. The sound sensor in Techno's head allows him to respond to voices and noises. I'm guessing it's like a low-quality microphone that can pick up like abrupt noise, and then I forgot to put the music back on. And then like basically be like, oh, you want attention. The nose sensor has two purposes. When pressed, Techno will make sniffing noises. Also, if he walks into an object, this feature will shut down his motor functions to keep Techno out of harm's way. Oh, that's actually a pretty good way to deal with like with that issue, cause oops. Cause Aibo has like a camera to tell where it's going, but obviously if we're working with a children's toy, we don't want to be putting expensive equipment like driving up the price, right? They want to keep the price down so that you can buy it for your kid kind of thing. So that's a good way of dealing with it. Putting like a shutdown feature in his nose. When you touch the sensor, the neck sensor, Techno realizes your affection and thinks you are scratching him from behind the ears. The mode button is used to program Techno and teach him tricks. Then there's the on and off switch. The reset button refreshes Techno's brain back to the beginning of his program. Keeping him happy, he needs attention. It's important to play with him, don't forget to pat him. Okay, patting him on the head, scratching him behind the ears, talking to him, and clapping your hands are met with joyous results. You'll see his ears move, his eyes flash, his tail wag. He'll parade around seeking adventure. He loves to eat, so remember to feed him once a day by pressing his bone to his mouth. Oh, okay, so you just like feed him the bone. His ears and voice will let you know his mood. If his ears are down, he may be feeling a little blue. If you hear him crying, begging, or moaning, it's time to turn his frown upside down. Oh yeah, so you just gotta play with him and stuff and he'll be happy again. He doesn't like to be left alone. He gets sleepy when it's nighttime. He likes to sniff a lot. He can lick. He can beg. Emergency stop. That's when he touches his nose. Okay, these are everyday tricks. Speak, fetch, howl at the moon, talk. So that's how to teach him these things. And then laugh, sing and dance, rude noise, makes rude noise and excuses himself. Does he like fart and then say apologies? Wake up songs. Okay, his advanced trick. A bit more difficult to program. He can be an alarm clock. He can be an alarm clock. There's a lot of how to do that. He can do a card trick. Ultimate trick is to master and require you to perform some serious acting. However, this bit of magic will truly amaze your friend. Okay, he can learn a card trick. He can... No, that's replacing batteries. Okay, so he learns like 3 special tricks. And he can interact with other puppies. I'm guessing it's like infrared, like Furbies. Anyway, Techno was pretty cool. I think Techno's pretty, like, impressive for what he is. I think he's cool. Okay, the next one I think is like my least favorite one that we're going to cover, but it was there, it popped up a lot. Apparently it was really impressive. Drink. Apparently it was really impressive. It was kind of on the same lines as Techno. It did a lot of the same stuff as Techno, but from what I could gather, just not quite as good. It was released in 2000. And it came in either gray and blue or gold and brown, and I hate it, and I don't wanna... I hate it. I hate it so much. So it this was Rocket the Wonder Dog. Yeah, this was Rocket the Wonder Dog. Yep. This is the gray and blue. This is the brown and gold. Gold and brown. Apparently, but I see brown and blue, so yeah, that's all we're gonna say about it. Let's just say that it kind of did the same stuff as Techno, a little less advanced. America in the background. This one I didn't have much to talk about. It didn't really bring anything new to the table. It's like a very basic robot pet, but there's not a lot of cats. There's not a lot of cats, and I did think this was very cute. I thought it was pretty cute. I love that it's like, pet me, I'm happy. Yeah, it wasn't anything special, but it is pretty cute. I did want to acknowledge it. Not really much to say about it other than it did kind of what every other robot pet at the time. There wasn't, like a special brand, you would say. It was kind of like one of those generic, robot pet toys that were out around this era. But yeah, it's very cute. Then the next one that I had to look at, so this one is marketed as a robot pet, but honestly, all things considered, I do not think this is a robot pet. Ta-da! The iDog. The iDog. So the iDog was let me just close this. The iDog was manufactured by Sega Toys. The iDog basically receives an input from an external source like an MP3 player or an iPod, and then it lights up and it like quote dances unquote to the music's rhythm. It was released in correspondence to the iPod Nano and was basically like released as like it pairs with the iPod Nano, so it came out in white and black like the original iPod Nano. And there was also this. So kind of like every other robot pet that came out, they would release a dog and then they would be like, oh hey, people want other animals too. So they would release a bunch of other stuff. This one came out and it's really weird. It's a fish that like, it has wheels under its fin, so it like turns and then the tail moves as well. So basically like you plug it into your iPad, you plug it into your iPod or MP3 player and it does like a little wiggle and it's yeah. There was also a McDonald's release for the iDog, which I did not have because I wasn't having Happy Meals in 2007 when these were released, but they are really cute and I kind of would like to get my hands on some of them. I do think it's like unfortunate that there's no white ones because it would be cute to have like a white one and a black one. But as for this guy, basically all he does is you plug in music and apparently it's supposed to like learn to like different music depending on what genre you play. So if you listen to like a lot of metal, then it will start to like metal and then it will get happy when you play metal music. And instead of like doing a lot of walking and stuff, it basically just sits there and bobs its head and moves its ears when it's dancing. And then to feed it, you give it music. So the whole concept is like it eats the music, right? Like that's how you feed it. It eats music. I don't know. It doesn't have a face. It doesn't really do anything else. The lights on its head is supposed to like light up and indicate what it's feeling and stuff. But I'm not sold. I don't think the iDog is really a robot pet. Much so that it's just a dog-shaped speaker that moves. I don't really see it being like an actual pet. Okay. So the next one is near and dear to my heart. Next one is near and dear to my heart. It is micro pets. The next one is micro pets. So micro pets are gonna be like the last one that I will cover for today, but we will go back and look at a couple of things after this one before we wrap up. So micro pets came out in 2002. They're very basic in terms of like animal robot pet. They respond to voice commands. I believe they had like a small set of commands that they could respond to. They can move forward, left, right. They can zigzag around, and they can sing. They'll become angry if they're given like the same command over and over again. So they can go into like angry mode. Basically, if you're like, come here, come here, come here, they'll get angry about it. And they'll be like, no, I'm not listening to you anymore. Also, if you ignore them for too long, so you don't interact with them, then they will go to sleep by shutting down. And interestingly enough, I didn't actually realize this, but depending on what region you got your micro pet in, they would sing a different song. So different release regions, they had different songs that came out with the particular micro pet. And series 1, basically they primarily had green eyes, with a couple of them having red eyes, but that was like a strong indicator of this is a series 1 release. There was something I was gonna say and I forgot while I was rambling. It was about micro pets, but now I can't think of what it was. Oh yes, I remember. I did find something else strange. In my region, this guy was called Sprocket. But when I look at other places online, they call him Siren. And I want to know what the story is behind that, because all of the other ones have the same name. So I'm trying to find like a picture where it shows him being called Sprocket. It had like Sprocket on the container, like the front of him. It would say Sprocket. But then when I see other releases of him online, it calls him Siren, and I don't know why. That's the only one that's had a different name. I'm just looking at a couple of containers, but none of them are showing his name. They're all like slightly turned so that you can't see it. Anyway, I had Sprocket and I had Chumsley. I had these two. Yeah. So they released micro pets. Here is Chumsley in his container. Look, you can see his name there too, Chumsley. They released these guys and then they just kind of like turbo released, and then they were like, alright, wrap it up, we're gone. So they released their first series in 2002, and then they released series 2 in early 2003, which all came in orange packets. So before this, they had blue packets like this. They had the blue packets, and then they had these orange ones, and most of these guys had red eyes, and they also introduced more species. So before we had, in the initial release, we had bear, dog, and I think these were called destroyers. I don't remember. Oh, these are dinosaurs. And then after that we had like hamsters, we had another destroyer, we had a horse, we had a different type of dog, we had a panda. I guess it's just a bear, right? But they released more species, and then in the middle of 2003 they released series 3, so they're like speedrunning. They're just speedrunning. Sorry, low res. They brought in more animals. They brought out more dogs. They brought out a mouse, a lion, and a koala. And then oink. Then they were like, no, we're not done yet. They released this lot in late 2003. So this was like their final like shoving micropets out. And these ones are all kind of like rehashed, right? Like ones that we've seen we've seen the hammies, we've seen the cats, we've seen the horses, we've seen the doggies. So they brought those ones out. I don't ever remember seeing these particular ones, but I do remember seeing some of these ones, and I do remember seeing some of these ones. So I don't know if we ever got these, but I really like this lot. The dogs are really cute in this one, and I really like the ginger cat. The robot I had was Wowie. Yeah, I don't remember seeing these guys, but the really cute thing with micropets is they could communicate they would just do like the normal kids toy robot pet thing where they would sing, they would like rock up to each other, and then they would start making noises at each other and stuff. It was really cute. I believe if you put like a dog and a cat, they would not get on. But if you put like a dog and a dog, they would get along. They were very, very primitive again in terms of like pet robot. Aibo is, I think Aibo's still, right? Still like very, very ahead of its game for what market it's entering. But these guys were very, very cute. I think they did more than Poochie. I think they had more, I guess, replayability than Poochie. I'm hating on Poochie. I don't know why, because I liked Poochie. I really liked Poochie. So I don't know why I'm giving Poochie such a hard time. So they also released some limited edition micropets. Which were like crossover micropets. So they had like seasonal specials, and then they had some like Disney crossovers and some Sanrio crossover. These are some of the Disney ones. I believe they released these in Japan, and then they never released them in America. They released them on like Tokyo and Disney, I think. And I don't particularly care for them. I think the Donald one is kind of cute, but the thing with these ones is they only had one LED light each. So all of the other ones have, each eyeball has its own little LED light that lights up and does, makes it look alive. Whereas these guys only had one LED light behind there, so I don't know, it's kind of weird that it's like cheaped out on when it's a special event one. But these were the Disney ones. Yeah, I don't really care for them, but I do think the Donald is kind of cute. Then they had Hello Kitty, which I think this one's cute. It is cute. This one's cute. I have no idea what she sells for. I haven't even looked. But it is cute. And then they have like the instruction manual. So it kind of shows a little bit better what they do. This is from the Disney one, but I'm sure it applies to all of them. So before you start playing with your micro pet, read the instruction manual carefully and keep it for future reference. Warning. Because of small parts, this is not suitable for children under 3 years of age. Sorry, Digicons. You're not allowed one. Dispose of all packaging safely before you give this toy to a child. To avoid entanglement, keep items away from children's hair. Oh yeah, they have those little tabs that you have to pull out the back to activate them. Remove the screw on the side and slide out the battery cover. Insert 2 LR44 batteries as shown. Replace the battery cover and screw. Battery life, continuous use, 150 minutes. That's not that long. But I guess a child isn't just like sitting there and like forcing it to keep going. If we stack up, does it count? No. You have to accumulate ages to be older than me before you're allowed one. I don't know how that makes sense. If the batteries are difficult to remove, slide out the battery cover and tap your micro pet over your palm to remove the batteries. Okay. Micro pets respond by recognizing the length of phrases. Micro pets do not understand the meaning of words, but respond depending on the length and combination of words brackets sounds. Micro pets are very sensitive to sounds. When talking to your micro pet, do so in a quiet place. Micro pets respond when 2 phrases are spoken. When saying your first phrase, make sure your micro pet's head or eyes light up before you say your second phrase. Stop from the beginning if your micro pet doesn't respond. Okay, so I don't really know what that entails because it doesn't tell us what phrases we can and cannot use. And by this, it sounds like it doesn't actually know what we're saying. It's just like I can be like bada 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 bada. And as long as I hit the duration of what the phrase is, then it'll recognize it as that. That's kind of what I understand from that. Okay. So I might have a drink. How to play with your micro pet. When you press the button on your micro pet's head, it will wake up and perform action. After saying your first phrase, wait for your micro pet's nose or tie to light up, then say your second phrase. Example: run, turn, walk, dance. Donald Duck responds with his tie lighting up. Okay, so in the normal micro pet, your eyes would just light up. I gotta be honest, I don't remember like using a lot of commands with mine. I think I would just like say its name and then I would be like, come here, and then I would go to the other end of the table and I would be like, come here, because it would be on like the kitchen table, right? And then I would just be like, oh, it's so cute, it's running back and forward, and then I would just be like, sing or something like that, and then I would put them together because I had 2. So I would put them together and then I'd be like, wow, they're interacting, it's so cool. And then I would lose interest and I would go do something else. And then I would come back and do the same thing again. Because I was a kid, right? It was just like, I don't know, that's what they do, they go back and forth. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't experiment, I guess you could say. Okay, micro pets have 2 personalities, happy and mad. Even with the same command, your micro pet may respond differently. Your micro pet will go to sleep if you don't play with it for a while. Hold down the button for 3 seconds and your micro pet will sing you goodbye and switch off. Yeah, I had a lot of fun with them. I remember like taking them to school with me and stuff too. I think the good thing with them is like because they were so small, you could pretend play with them too. So even if they weren't on, it was like, yeah, Chun-Li is climbing a tree. You know what I mean? And then you could turn Chun-Li on later and be like, Chun-Li, you climbed a tree, and Chun-Li would be like, mee! Or like make the little noises that they made. I think that aspect of it was really fun. Repeating the same command over and over again will make them mad. Example, you make your micro pet run again and again. When your micro pet is mad, he will refuse to listen and will not respond. To make your micro pet happy again, praise it. Your micro pet should cheer up and be happy again. Pressing the button on its head during an action will reset your micro pet. To make your micro pet sing, clap your hands. 3 times it'll sing It's a Small World. Oh yeah, I remember doing that. I remember making it sing It's a Small World. 4 times we'll sing 10 Little Indians. 5 times we'll sing Electrical Parade. It's very important to wait for its nose or tie to light up between each hand clap. Gather all your micro pets, they will sing together. That's right! I remember my best friend, she had 2 and I had 2, and then we put them in a little circle and we actually managed to get them to sing together one time. Check your micro pet is switched off. No, wait, she didn't have 2. One was her sister's, so she had to like get her sister's permission to bring it to my house, and her sister let her, and then we put them in a circle and we made them sing. Oh yeah, this is talking about the like switching on and off process. So micropets, they did all this stuff. They had these crossovers. I believe they had more crossovers. They had limited events, like I can actually bring these in quite easily. So wait a minute, I didn't bring in one of the most important ones. Well, I'm not sure what year this one came out. One of the crossovers that they had was where are you? Ta-da! They had a Pikachu crossover. They had a Pikachu crossover one. This is one of the special releases. They also had like bunny twins that got released. They were like a special edition that was only released outside of Japan. No, they released outside of Japan for Easter. And then in Japan, they had a non-limited edition version of these bunnies that shared the same like ID code. I don't know. It was strange, but they basically these guys. Oh, I bought one in. Okay, I was meant to bring them both in. Where did you go? Bunny. There we go. 2 little bunnies. And then there was also another type of bunny that got released. In like the English release, they had the same names, but they were released for like different things, so it's not really sure if they're meant to be the same bunnies or not. But these guys also came out, which were like a special Easter release. There was also a Halloween one, which I think is very cute. Let me go up into the corner so we can see him. There he is! Halloween one. And then there is... Oh, I just noticed his tail! I just noticed his tail is a little pumpkin. Okay, that's really cute. Then there is this guy, and I also think he is very cute. There was also a Burger King toy release. Which I'm honestly surprised because I would have thought that McDonald's would have jumped on this, but I guess McDonald's was not focused on this. I want to get my hands on some of these ones, because I'm just really curious. Like, do they do the same things as the official releases? But I kind of think it would be impossible to find these because who collected like Burger King toys, right? Specifically this guy. I want this one. Oh no, I like this one too. I like these two. I really like those. There's a hippo? There's like a hippo one. 2 hippos actually. Interesting. Yeah, I'm curious if they do anything or if they're just like display only. I don't know much about these ones, but they're cute. They are cute. And there's also this one, which is for the 1st anniversary. It was for their 1st anniversary, they released these 2. And then there was like one more dog that was released as like a collaboration with a clothing brand. So they are really just like pumping these ones out, right? They were just like micropet. We gotta ride this train while it's popular. And then in 2003, they just were done. They were gone. They discontinued. And then, so this goes beyond like the amount of years that I wanted to cover for what we were talking about today. But basically, they came back in 2009. They did like this re-release of Micropets, and it released in 2009 in Japan, and then it released in 2010 for the rest of the world, and they were essentially the same. Like, they basically just took Micropets, put a different skin on them, and re-released them, and they were like, oh yeah, these are Micropets I. And Micropets I do look different. And one thing that is kind of funny, I guess, is that the little button on the head is actually fake. So Micropets I do have a picture. Where did they go? Micropets I. So the original guys have like a little button on the head, right? And when you press it, it turns them on. You can see their little buttons. These little buttons. That's what turns them on and turns them off. And then Micropets came back and they looked like this. And now the button is fake. Now the button does not function, it is just there for aesthetic purposes. And I thought that was really weird. I thought that was kind of weird. Like, why would you keep it there but it doesn't do anything? You know? It's weird. They kind of did the same thing again though. They did the first lot, which was cats, dogs, and bears. These ones look, I will say, these ones do look a lot cuter than the original release. So they did cats, dogs, bears. On essentially, I would say it's like wave 1. They call them series 1, but they kind of released in waves more than series. So they released these guys. They didn't really have any extra functions. They walked, they sung, they interacted. Instead of the sensor being on the head, they have a fake button and they have a little ball on that collar, like if you can see. All of them have like a little collar and it has a little ball on it, right? So that is where the on and off button has moved to. It's on the collar now. They sing Do they sing different songs? I don't remember actually. But they did just start like pooping them out again. So they had series 1, they had series 2, they had series 3. Did they do a series 4? They did. The first lot was like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 of them. And then they did another 9, and then they did 1, 2, 3, 4. So they like pooped out a bunch again. Thank you for following, you're welcome. Maple Syrup Fox, that's such a cute name. I don't think... Oh, they did have a couple of unreleased ones that they like did a showcase for at like the Tokyo Toy Show. And then they just kind of went away again. Yoink. Here is part of the advertisement. Yeah. So yeah, they did like a little comeback where they had kind of like a cuter look to them. But they didn't do anything new. They did the same stuff. They just had like a little bit of redesign. Yeah, and then that was it. They did that through 2009 and then they were gone again. And that is essentially the lore of Micro Pets. That is it. And that's pretty much all the ones that I was going to cover for today. There are a ton of more like offshoots. I found what are they called? There were like eye puppies. There were random off-brand copies of a lot of the popular toys of that time that were like robot pets that would be like copy-pasted of what they would do. They wouldn't actually be robots per se. They wouldn't have any kind of AI. There was a lot of that going around, but I think I covered like the main major ones. And I did want to show something that I did find that was pretty cute. And then we can go look at some of the older commercials. Because I did find some commercials that were pretty funny, and I thought it would be nice to go back to them since I missed them when we were talking about them earlier. Okay. This one I used the Wayback Machine to find. But look, it is the Micro Pets Eye website. Let me just trim this for immersion. So, it's like the Micro Pets Eye website. Meet? I don't know how functional it is. Train, game, and shop. So I think if you had the Micro Pets, the Eye, I do think these guys could interact a bit with this website or something. It would come with a code, and then you would enter the code into this, and then like your pet would essentially pop up on screen. I think that's what would happen with this. But isn't this cute? Like, even if it's not really that functionable, it's still so cute to like see that it's like hair and it's like doing stuff. As soon as I like try to actually do something, it doesn't want to work. Should I go home? Oh, something just popped up there. Okay, that's another sitemap. Contact us? No, it's like mostly dead. That just takes us back. Then it pops up the privacy policy. But anyway, it's cute to see that there's like a little memory of it. Game, shop, train, meet. It's a shame it doesn't fully work though, but it is very cute. Also, can close this up. Then there was, what was there? There was something else. Oh yes, so they also had like shoot-offs of like the micro pets. Then there were micro pets specifically released in Japan. There were micro puppies, micro babies, micro aqua, micro placers, petite dog, I wonder if it's easier to just like crop. Yeah, I'm gonna do it like this. I'm just gonna screenshot all the different special things. We're not quite done yet. We don't need to see the Japan releases, they just look the same. They're kind of like the same, but slightly different colored. But then they had like these random, like specifically Japan ones that look different. Oh no, these are micro puppies. Never mind. Okay, these are micro babies. They also had these. I do remember these. And I think I might have had this. I think I had this one. And when I look at it now, I'm like, why? But you know, whatever. I either had that or I really wanted that. But there were micro babies. There is one that I actually would like to have now, because this one is cool. Like, this one is pretty cool. This one is micro aqua. I just noticed that one is like Dory and Nemo. Look. Oh, it actually is okay, it's like a crossover. It's a special crossover one. Okay. That makes sense. Aren't these ones cool though? They're like the size of a battery. Hey, you can kind of see. They're like the size of a battery, and they're like a little aquarium. Isn't that adorable? I like that one. That's a really cute idea. The other one was micro places, and it was basically just micro pets in places, but small. They didn't function. They were just display only. I never saw these, so I don't really have much to say about them. They're also not robots. It's just spin-off. These were like Japan specific, I believe. I'm not sure. It's basically released with Nintendogs. Never saw these, but kind of cool. Yeah, there is a lot of spin-off stuff of Micropets. They were really riding the wave of popular, what do you call it? Robotic pets of the era. Insta, hello, welcome. Thank you for following. Okay. Okay, I believe that is at the end of our robot pet discussion. I didn't mean to click that, sorry. I clicked at the wrong place. I'm back. I believe that is the end of the list. The end. That's the lesson wrapped up. For anyone that wants to stay for a little extra material that may be on the test, stay tuned. There isn't gonna be a test, I'm lying. There were some commercials that I wanted to look at together. It was under... Okay. Furby commercial.
Me Amanda. Me Amanda. That's Furby.
Me hungry. That was the one I had. That was the one I had. Boogie. So yeah. So I remember when mine was still speaking Furbish, it would be like Coco, and then yeah, I called it Coco because of that, but it actually has an official name. Anyway, that is the original Furby. And then I found this gem. Look, you can already tell it's gonna be good. It has the 2005 Furby commercial. Furby! Oh, I wanna watch it again. I love this one. I love Furby! I love Furby! Love Furby! Furby! I kinda want a Japanese speaking Furby now, I gotta be honest. I kinda want a Japanese speaking Furby, and then when I don't understand what it's saying, I'm gonna hit it, and then I'm gonna be like, speak English! And then, yeah, it's not gonna know what to say. Should I watch Initial D? I don't know, do you wanna? Go watch it if you wanna watch it. I never seen it myself. We also missed a commercial for someone else. Did we watch the... No, I don't think we did. Bringing back the music. I cannot sit in silence. I closed the wrong tab. Who else did we miss the commercial of? Where's it going? Oh yeah. I am on. How do I navigate this? There we go. Go to this. Go to this. Go to this. It's not opening. Okay, there we go. We looked at the Furbies. We looked at the eyeball. We didn't look at the modern eyeball. We looked at Poochie. Did we look at the for real? I don't think we did. Did we look at the for real commercial? Because I did see one. I think that was one of the ones I also could. No, no. I found the commercial of the dog that I hate. God, it's so ugly. I think we missed that. We did look at Poochie. I hate it. I hate everything about it. Why is it doing that?
Voice control headset and everything here.
Look at this, wait. 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 What does it do? Look, what is it doing? Why is it humping the planet? Why?
Rocket comes with voice control headset and everything here. Batteries not included.
I don't like it. I don't like it. I hate everything about it. Okay. Rocket was a bad design. Rocket, I don't know. Rocket can just die. The for real cat 2000 was it two? It was the for real was like 2002, I believe. Okay, I don't see. No, I found it. No, wait, is this the original? No, this isn't the original. This is like an upgraded version. We don't want none of that. We need the original. 2002 for real. This for real's friends. This looks like the correct one. Okay, I think this is the commercial. I think this is the original commercial.
I named mine Sassy. For real, friends. So real, they're more than just toys. They're part of the family.
Did we get a cat?
Oh my gosh.
Don't be scared, baby. Take her home and she'll love you forever. For real, friends from Tiger Electronics.
She really is real. Did you hear it? Did you hear it? It was like meow, meow.
I named mine Sassy. For real, friends. So real, they're more than just toys.
See, that's the whole like it raises its butt. It's literally just lifting the tail. Wow.
Take her home and she'll love you forever. For real, friends from Tiger Electronics. Sold separately, batteries not included.
Okay. I did see a video of someone like showing it in action as well, where they like show that you just pet it and here we go. It doesn't blink or anything. This is like the whole interaction of it. And then you pull its tail. Meow. Meow. It's so real. It's so lifelike. Meow. Now they're pulling its tail. There we go. Meow. Meow. Alright. Alright, we get the point. That's the for real. We didn't look at any of the micropets, right? Meow, meow. Robot noises. Did we look at Techno? I think Techno Techno dog commercial. No, we looked at techno. Oh, was it Poochie commercial? No, we looked at Poochie as well. Poochie's the one where they like run into the lab and it's like the kid's pretending that he turned Poochie. He turned their dog into Poochie. Did we look at iDog commercial? I don't even know if I've seen the iDog commercial. Apparently I haven't, so... No wait, I have seen this. Okay. I don't remember if we watched this, but this is the iDog commercial. That's all it does. That's all it does.
Whatever your groove, just plug them in, and iDog plays your tunes. He lights up to your touch and changes colors along with your music. Rock, hip-hop, dance, or punk, iDog moves and grooves to your beat.
iDog.
Big sound.
It does do more. Yes, it does do more than the for real. But I think I think even Poochie does more than the iDog. So that was the thing. Okay, now let's do microbatch. And then oh my gosh, there's an upscale commercial. Okay. Wait, we're not ready. We're not ready. See, they called him Siren. Yeah, they called him Siren, but here he was called Sprocket. Their little stubby legs. Their little stubby legs. That's so cute. They're so cute. Their little stubby legs. I'm gonna look at them again. That's so sweet. I like them. I still really like them. Microbytes. But I'm offended that he's called Siren there. Why is he called Siren? He's Sprocket. He's not Siren. I want to know what the lore behind that is, so I am curious. I believe that is everything for today. I believe that is everything. We sort of covered them all. To wrap up, should we look at the most recent eyeball commercial? He is like complete. Wait, there's a couple of eyeball commercials. Is this the one that we watched? This one's 5 minutes. What the heck? Eyeball commercials like really go ham. The most recent one. Eyeball, where are you? Okay, this is like the modern eyeball. I believe there is, oh god, music. I believe there is a 2025 eyeball coming out. I don't know if it's released yet, but honestly, we had no place in covering it. For this stream, I just thought we can wrap up by looking at how far eyeball has come. Since eyeball is definitely like the breadwinner of all of these, even the old ones, right? eyeball is very impressive. Aww. Aww, he's so cute. My favorite is the 300 series and the modern eyeball. I think the modern eyeball is very cute, but the 300 series is very charming. Oh, look at his little tail. I think this eyeball though is like, I think it's like $4,000 or $5,000. Eyeball. That's it. Whoops, I didn't mean to. I almost clicked on another video. Yeah, the new eyeball is very expensive. And I don't know the name of the current gen one. Okay, a pre-owned eyeball is like $3,900. Oh my goodness, there was a pink eyeball and it's $8,000. Okay, where's the eyeball 2025? Yeah. So eyeball has definitely come along. Ew, I don't really like how 2025 looks. Wait, unless this is just like a... Oh, I think it's just an AI picture, never mind. Let's look at the actual eyeball. I don't want like a review video, I just want to see what it looks like. Oh, it looks like it looks pretty much the same. It doesn't look that much different. It's probably just like software updates and stuff. Footstep sound. Thus 2018. Yeah, it looks pretty much the same. I guess there's like little minor differences that I'm not noticing, but yeah. You could buy an official bowl for your eyeball. You could. Wait, can you? Can you? Oh, there's an eyeball with heterochromia. That's cute. Anyway, I will not be having a modern eyeball anytime soon, but I would like to have one of the 300 eventually. I think that would be kind of cool. I also would kind of like to have a I would also kind of like to have a techno. I think techno would be kind of cool. But the only one I'm like interested in like immediately getting anytime soon would be some micro pets. I would like to get some micro pets again. But I don't want a siren. I want a sprocket. He's not called siren. He's called sprocket. Yeah. Look up the strawberry milk edition. That's the pink one. It's so freaking expensive though, right? That's the one that I just saw for like $8,000. Yeah, that one's very, very expensive. It's so cute. Oh, does it have... It has bean eyebrows. Wait, there's a plushie of it. That's so cute. Is there any 300 plushies? Oh my gosh, there is. There's plushies of the 300 eyeball. Aww. Oh, he's so cute. Very, very cute. Let me get this on screen so we're on the same page. Look. Plushie of him. Very cute. There's also this one. Very cute. How many are there? Oh, there's quite a few eyeball plushies. There's like different... Sorry if you can hear my throat rumbling, by the way. There's like different plushies of the different eyeball. I don't know if they still sell them or if those are like limited things, but they're very cute. I think that's a itchful. Wait, I'm not even showing them. There we go. There we go. I was meant to be putting these on the screen. I am beat. There is a Takara brand one. I think this is the one that I'm looking at. Oh my goodness, this is so cute. Look at this. Wait. Let's get rid of these. New little sibling. They're all celebrating their new little sibling. They're so cute. Anyway, that is an actual good place to wrap up. I hope you learned something new today. I hope you learned something new and I hope you had fun. It was a lot of fun talking about robot pets. I like robot pets. They're very cute. I hope you have more appreciation for them. I know there are tons more out there that I did not cover. I just tried to cover the ones that I had either had experience with, knew of, or the ones that were like in the top sales kind of thing. Like they were the most popular, you know? Because there were so many like little offshoot ones that I have no idea about. But I'm sure there's ones that I've like forgotten about too, that like if I would see them I would be like, oh my gosh, I remember that. But then not seeing it, I just forget about it. Anyway, thank you for today, everyone. Thank you for hanging out. I usually ping in Discord when I'm gonna stream. So maybe tomorrow? Question mark. But I think tomorrow should be Zork or Ready Out of Stories if we play anything. So there's not too much of a gap between them, I should say. Anyway, thank you everyone. Thank you for hanging out today. I hope you have a good rest of your evening or day. I think some of you it may be day. Anyway. Goodbye. EP. Okay. Yeah, maybe Ready Auto. We need to make progress in Ready Auto. Okay. Otsukagi. Thank you. Bye bye.